bought a what?
I didn't buy anything.
Oh, good. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome back. I'm Sean.
And I don't know what to do with you. I'm Jen.
Story of my life. No one knows what to do with me because we almost did a thing, guys.
We almost did a thing.
We told you that we're always going to bring you guys on our roller coaster of adventures in life and things and choices and stuff. And we almost bought something.
Okay, so first of all, I'm sure you guys have noticed we haven't posted a video in a little while. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. One of the biggest reasons for that is because we've been working really, really hard to try to buy a house. If you couldn't already tell from the title, we've been trying to buy a house, and part of that is because we've been getting a lot of pressure from the world, I guess, because everyone's like, house prices are going up and interest rates are going up. You gotta buy now. And then Florida's having this whole like rent is going up, and people are getting calls from their landlord saying, oh yeah, your rent's gonna be $400 more a month now. And they're like, what?
And they're like, either you deal with it or get out.
Yeah. So we've been feeling a little bit of pressure to buy something. So for the past 6 months or so, we have been working our butts off to try to save to put a down payment on a house, and I managed to save enough that we can make that happen. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at houses. And there's like, we'll take you through the whole process, and then you'll get to the point where we're currently at, and then yeah. But I wanted to talk to you about like the process of it, because first of all, our realtor has to be the coolest person in the world because we are the weirdest home buyers in the world. Every house we go to, the first thing I look for is, okay, where am I going to film? Where am I going to film my tutorials?
We've even gotten her, landlord, the lady,
Realtor?
the realtor. She's like, I was looking at this one. I don't know if you could film in this one, but let's check it out.
She's actually looking for places for me to film in each like listing. I think it's just the coolest thing. So my MO right now is that I have a fireplace behind me, and I'd like to keep that, but like not every house has one or a space for one and stuff like that. So the first thing is that every time we go into a house, I'm not even looking at the stuff most people look at. I'm thinking, where am I going to film and how are the acoustics? Weirdest thing ever. And is there a fireplace that I can worry about all that in front of? So then the next thing that we look for...
Is there a mantle above the fireplace?
No. That's easy to put in. But the next thing that we look for that most people don't consider a super high priority is, does it have a screened porch? Because that's where we keep the litter boxes. Because if you keep your litter boxes on the porch, you don't smell them all the time. Great. We have a lot of cats. Like 3 cats is a lot. We used to have 5. So we keep like the door partially open. Well, in this house, we don't have a sliding glass door, which sucks because I have 2 sliding glass door inserts so that it's like a sliding glass door and it has a little cat door in it. It's like an insert for the sliding glass door. So the door stays shut and it doesn't let the AC out, but the cats can still get in and out unless they're really dumb, like one of our cats was. She could get out and then she thought she couldn't get back in. She stood at the opening going, meow,
She would
meow.
just yell
and
because
we're like,
she wanted back in.
go
and
back
it's like,
the way you came.
all you have to do is push.
Yeah, but she was like, I'm stuck. Help. So we're like, dude. So we're looking for screened-in porches, and that becomes like either an extra expense if we have to screen in a porch, or if it's already there but it doesn't have a sliding glass door. We have to like, okay, what are we gonna do? And we were also looking for, what was the other weird thing that we were, carpet in the living room that I'm going to film in. I know, nobody wants that. I don't want carpet in my house. But for acoustic purposes, it's very important that I have some sound deadening, so I was looking for that. So we were looking for some interesting features, and we also will only look in one place. That kind of narrowed our search down a little bit too much for our realtor's taste, but we're only willing to live in one part of town. So
it's where we know and we like it.
And it's such a central location for me because I teach in 3 different counties, and this is the central location between the 3. So, and I teach the most right here. Yeah. So it makes sense to live here. Even though your job is a little further away from here, it makes the most sense to live here. Oh, yeah. And we like it here. So I was like, no, I'm not budging on that. We're only looking in this one area. Because here's my biggest tip with buying a house, and I learned this from HGTV. You can change anything about a house. You can change what the outside looks like. You can change what the landscaping looks like. You can change what the bathroom looks like. You can change the layout of a house. You can't change the location. Unless it's a tiny house. Then you can move it. But you can't change the location of a house. So the location has to be first and foremost.
Oh, yeah. Because there are some areas of a house that we might have liked, but there was nowhere for us to walk, or the
nowhere for us to
just
park.
wasn't the same, or parking was a huge one for us.
Yeah, and nowhere to walk is kind of a big thing because we love to go for walks in the morning. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of a thing. We need a sidewalk or something. So we were looking for some interesting aspects of a house, and we want it to be something that we don't have to move. Like, we want this to be kind of a forever home if it can be. So, yeah. So there was a lot of pressure on spending that amount of money on something we like versus something that we love. And in this market, you don't get what you love. That's something that we learned. You do not get what you love in this market. You get what's available and the thing you like the most or hate the least. Little bit ago, we saw a house nearby the middle one that I liked. We saw one of those, and we ended up not getting it because right now houses go well above asking, major competition. Now, if you get the right realtor, they can get you to the table for sure. If you have the funds to do it and you want that house, get the right realtor and they will get you that house, even if it's in competition. Our realtor's amazing. If anyone is looking for a realtor and needs in Jacksonville area and you need somebody, just message me. I will get you her info. She's fantastic. But I managed to save up enough, but I didn't manage to save up competitive offer enough. So we can't make the most competitive offers in the world, but we can make an offer. So this past trip, we're going to take you through this little journey of ours. This past trip, we saw 6 houses in one day. They were all on the market in the same neighborhood or same area. We live in a town, like a town of a city. They were all here, but they were in different neighborhoods here. So we were just driving around seeing these 6 houses. The first house was the tiniest thing. It was the cheapest of all of them too. But it was still more than I wanted to spend on something that small.
It was like 1,300 square feet.
So little. It was 1,500 square feet, which doesn't sound like it's super little. We have friends that live in New York City. They're like, I'm sorry, what? For what we needed, because it's us 2 plus Alex, and we need a home office for you. And ideally, Alex has a home office, but he could also put his office in his room because that's a private space. He can't put his office in his room. We share a room. And I have my office in this room, and I can't listen to his phone calls, and he probably shouldn't listen to my live classes. So I can put my office in my bedroom, but he needs his own office. So we at least needed 3 bedrooms.
I don't know that in that first house, I don't know that a queen bed would have fit in anything other than the master.
Yeah, it was so little. And so dated. Like, I don't mind dated because it can of paint here and there, or just change out the countertop, whatever. It was dated. We had to redo the floors, and a smoker lived there before because we could see like all the yellowing and stuff, and the floors were just achy.
The AC panel looked like it was one of the first ones that went digital ever.
Yeah, and it was yellow. So not an ideal house. We kind of crossed it off the list right away. The second house we saw, it was in a weird neighborhood. Like, I don't like the area it was in, but when we turned into the neighborhood, I loved it. There's just the feel of it. It seemed very established. There were a lot of kids, a lot of families. And we pull up to this house, and I immediately feel something. Like, I love this house. I'm not even inside it yet, and I love it. And I didn't expect to feel that way. I really loved it. And I think you did too.
It was my favorite.
So we walk in, and there's 2 living rooms. And immediately I'm like, score, I get a living room for filming. The living room that I'm going to film in has a fireplace, and it's carpeted.
And the fireplace is right in the middle of the wall.
Yeah,
for
it was
her.
literally perfect. And there was enough space for me to put my drum sets and my guitars and stuff, make it a music and dance room. It was literally perfect. It was right off the porch, which was not screened. So that was an added expense. We would have to screen the porch. But it did have a sliding glass door, so we wouldn't have to change that out. It was only 3 bedrooms. And the bedrooms were not small, but they weren't huge either. So our roommate had issues with this house because it was out of the way a little bit. It added 5 minutes to his drive to work. And for somebody like me who drives an hour to go teach 3 classes in a row, like I drive an hour to go work for 3 hours and then I drive an hour home. For me, I'm like, oh, 5 minutes, dang, deal with it. But like, I do get it. I get it from his perspective. Like, if we could just move a little further in the right direction, although that is the wrong direction for me. So it would have saved me time to get that one.
Yeah.
What else did you like about that one?
I love the layout. I love that, like, basically over here would have been where Jen's filming, and then we had another big living room for us.
Yeah, a whole big living room to put like a couch and stuff in. This house that we're currently in doesn't have 2 living rooms. It only has 1.
Yeah, like if here's where Jen would have been filming, here was the dining room, here was the kitchen, and here was the other living room.
Yeah, I would have been kind of
nice.
on my own by myself. The only noise that would have disrupted me is if somebody was in the living room doing something loud, which they know better, or if like the laundry was going, which I try not to have when I'm filming. So it was pretty perfect. And
she would have also been in the furthest corner.
yes, I think the things I didn't like about this house were the shower in the master bedroom was a 1-person shower. Now, I know for some people that's probably like not a deal breaker, but he dyes my hair and I need somebody in the shower holding a towel for me so that I don't get hair dye in my eyes. That's the weirdest thing for me to say, but it's totally true. I was like, you're just going to have to stand outside the shower and just hold the towel. Like, you're not going to be able to be in there.
Yeah, it was really interesting, the layout of the bathroom. And
Yeah,
stuff,
it had like, you walk in and then here's this 1-person shower right away, right across from the closet, which to me is not a great thing because you get a lot of moisture from that headed directly to the closet. But the closet did have a door, so that was helpful. And then there were 2 sinks, which is great, and then a toilet with an X on it, which tells me that needed to be replaced. And then it had a straight from the 80s black marble tub. I was like, this bathroom would eventually need to be redone. And then on the other side of the house, the other bathroom was fine. The other bedrooms were fine. One of them had this gorgeous huge window, and it had vaulted ceilings, and I was like, oh, Alex can have like a loft bed and stuff. It wasn't enough to sway Alex, but technically the decision was ours. It wasn't Alex's. We eventually decided not to go with that one, though, because it had all these red dots all over the house.
From
like
the inspection.
stickers. Like inspection stickers. Lots of places in the house were not passing inspection. And that told us that's why the house was on the market for over 100 days. So we unfortunately decided not to go with the house we loved the most. The next couple of houses we saw... Oh, we got to talk about the box. There's this ridiculous house. What were they thinking? You walk in, and there's this hallway. And that doesn't seem that bad. But, like, if you make an immediate right and the first right of the hallway, you're in like, the breakfast nook and kitchen, which is very closed off. And you're like, why is this so closed off? That seems weird. I thought I was on my way to the living room. Why is this place so closed off? And then you keep going, and then you end up in this really wide hallway, which I guess was supposed to be a formal dining room, but it just looked like a wide hallway for no reason. And then you walk into the living room, and then you turn around, and you realize there's just like a walled-off box in the middle of a rectangular big room. And that walled-off box is the kitchen with a little window, a little, like, pass-through window.
Little cutout window, yeah.
It had probably the most beautiful fireplace out of any of the houses.
Big
and it had
old
a screened-in porch.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing is that when we went in there, he said something I never thought he would say. He said, this place smells. And I was like, I freaked out. I was like, what? Apparently, he could smell the same thing that I was smelling, which was like a musty scent.
It smelled like wet to me.
Wet, yeah. It backed up to some like marsh, but maybe that was it. But it was just an older house, you know. Then there was the master bathroom. I don't know who designed this freaking house, but like you walk in to the master bathroom, immediately you see a sink. but it is not in front of you. It is like you have to, it's like a hotel where like you walk in here and then here's the sink. And there's only one sink, but there's enough counter space for 2 sinks, but there's only one sink. And then if you don't go all the way to the sink, there's also 2 doors right here. One of them leads to the shower and toilet combination, and then the other one leads to your closet. I need to draw this out for you. Like, it is...
It's weird because, like, literally when you walk in, it was like a partition almost.
Yeah, it was like 3 separate rooms with walls in between, and the middle one had 1 sink. And it was, like, on the side. Even the realtor was like, this is the weirdest house I've ever seen. And that says something.
It looks like this house was made in the 80s, and they tried to do this, like, Art Deco.
Yeah.
But then didn't know how to do it, so they were just like, let's just do weird shapes. What if we do an... It looked like an E. Like, if you went like this, it was like wall, toilet, room, sink.
But I'm not scared of a project house at all. And if it was in a neighborhood I really wanted to be in, I would have bought it. It was a good price. It was well kept. It didn't need anything. It was just like stuff we could live with until we couldn't live with it anymore. It had a fireplace that I could film in front of. A gorgeous fireplace. It even had like a wood beam on the top of the room, not the fireplace. Like the ceiling had one of those like wood beams.
Yeah,
so cool. But it was not in a neighborhood. Like us driving through the neighborhood, we were like, we do not want to live here. There is zero incentive for me to live here. The last neighborhood really captured my heart. Okay, from there, we went to see a townhouse, which was like a 1-story townhouse, and they were still moving. I guess there was an old lady that lived there, and she went into a retirement home. They were still moving her stuff out. That woman had the most expensive furniture I've ever seen in my life. It was all antiques and just beautiful, very, very well-made stuff. And it smelled like you would expect an old lady's house with antiques to smell. It didn't smell bad, but it definitely smelled like an old lady with antiques lived there.
The furniture that she had was that furniture. If you're gonna go help someone move, you're like, I should have worked today.
Yeah, it was so heavy. I'm sure it was so heavy. I really liked the place. It was small, but a townhouse means no maintenance, and we're no maintenance people. You know, we're like we're on the road all the time. We don't need to be worried about the roof. We don't need to be worried about the paint or like the landscaping. We don't need to worry about that. And the master suite was a suite. It was like you open the door and then you have a hallway to your room, to your closet, to your bathroom. It was just amazing. And then there were 2 other bedrooms. We didn't even consider the place, though, because the parking would have been a huge issue. We have 3 cars for the people in this house. You can only park 1 car on that driveway, unless you put one in the garage. But how are you going to get your car out if your roommate hasn't gone to work yet?
Just bump them.
I don't think that works. And then where would I park?
Yeah.
So it would have been a hot mess. We decided not to do it. So, and then... while we were there, we find out Alex is available to come see houses with us, and I was reluctant. He's not going to watch this, so I don't mind saying it, but I would also say this to his face. I was reluctant to have him come with us. My biggest piece of advice for anyone with roommates looking for a house, don't bring your roommate with you until you know you've found the house that you wanted. Don't give them a say. Think about their needs, but don't give them a say, because ultimately you're the one buying the house. And I took Alex's needs into consideration. I also took that some of his needs were wants and not needs.
They'll start projecting their wants and needs on you.
While you're in the house trying to look at it.
And then they're like, oh, well, this is too small. And then automatically your mind goes, oh, I guess it is a little smaller than this. But, you know.
The house we went to after that, I really liked. It was only a 3-bedroom, which he made very apparent that he was upset about because it didn't have his office. But, like, as I keep saying, he doesn't need a home office because he can put his office in his room. I said you can get a loft bed and put your office underneath it. We all need privacy for our offices, and if there's 3 bedrooms, we each get a room. It makes sense.
And the only ones of us that are, like, have a long-term work from home like guarantee is her.
Yes.
Then me.
So if anybody should get the office, it's honestly me. But I don't mind having it in the bedroom because if he's working in the bedroom, I can't go in there. And that's not good. Yeah. So I put my office in the bedroom. He gets his own office because he can't put his in his room, and Alex technically could. So I took his need as a want and said, if there's a 4-bedroom available, great. If it works for us. If there's not, there's not. And there was only one 4-bedroom out of all the houses that we looked at. So I was like, it's a want, not a need. And he would not stop mentioning that. And it definitely colored how I saw the house. It shaded it. It affected how I saw it. That house had a room with a fireplace. It has second living room with a fireplace. It wasn't carpeted, but I could add sound dampening stuff.
Yeah.
It had a screened-in porch. It had a master bedroom. The master bedroom did have a sliding door that went to the porch, but we would never use it because the cats poo out there. Yeah. So like we're not going to go there. It barely had a backyard, which I love. I don't want to take care of a yard. Barely had a front yard. We could probably mow that.
Our bedroom right now is probably
bigger than the front yard.
And it's also bigger than the backyard there, too.
Oh, yeah. The backyard would never need mowing because it doesn't even have grass. It's just kind of like woodland, which is really great. I liked it. I really liked it. Definitely my favorite house of the day. My favorite neighborhood, too. And Alex just couldn't get past that. He said, I don't really like it that much. And you said that was your second favorite. I think it was both of y'all's second favorite, but it was my favorite.
The one with all the red dots was my favorite.
Yeah.
Go figure.
So yeah, that one was a contender for sure. And I was ready to put in an offer on that. But we had one more house to see. This one had 4 bedrooms. It was also the most expensive of all the houses. It was well over what I thought we would spend. It was still in the range of what we were approved for, but it was well over what I thought we would spend. But it had 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a pool. Now, they were excited about this pool. I, who grew up in a house with a pool, knew better.
I grew up in Ohio. You can only go to the pool from like Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah, but you're saying go to the pool. I grew up in a house where we had a pool. And all I ever saw was my mom and dad taking care of the pool. Like, as a kid, of course, I used it. But that's so much work.
Alex grew up with a pool.
No, he didn't.
Didn't his parents have a pool?
I don't think so.
I might be wrong.
I think they just have backyard.
Oh.
Yeah. Pools are a lot of work. Oh, yeah. It's not worth it to me.
When I was
we would never use it.
I was like 12 or 13. We got an above ground pool. And I remember I'd have to help my dad take care of it. And it was like, this is so much work. And then after a while, it was like a couple years down the line, it's like we barely used it.
Yeah. So we're seeing this house. Immediately I walk in, and I don't know if it's because I didn't want to like it because it was so expensive and it only fit the needs of one person who actually was not part of the thing we should be factoring, or just because I really didn't like it. We walked in, beautiful fireplace, gorgeous wood floors, great layout, sort of. Immediately I go, I can't film here. There's no second living room. There was a dining room. We looked at it for size purposes. I could film there, but it wasn't ideal. I didn't have my fireplace, I could mirror the walls or something. But yeah, it would function, but it was not ideal for me. And then you walk into the kitchen, the cabinets are blue. Neither one of us likes blue.
Yeah, like bright.
The bottom cabinets were blue. The top cabinets were white. Yeah. It's that color blue that they paint everything on Flea Market Flip.
Yeah.
They paint everything that color. And the kitchen, it was like, it had like a breakfast nook, but that breakfast nook it's not meant for like a 4-person round table. It's more meant for like bar stools or a wall table. It was very narrow. And since I was going to steal the dining room, I was like, what are we going to do for like eating? And then because we had to put our dining table in there instead of in like the dining room, it would have been completely closed off from the TV, which means when you sat at the dining table you needed a different TV or you can't watch TV from there, which we do enjoy doing. Like he'll draw and want to watch TV. And there was just everything wrong. No sliding glass doors, but it did have a cat door, but it wasn't a functional cat door for us because the landing was too high. Like the door was like
this high off the ground.
It was pretty high off the ground for my 17-year-old cat. It was
higher. It was higher than Sayuri is tall.
Yeah, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't even know if they would use it. I didn't know if they would know how. So there was no sliding glass door. Of course, it had the 4 bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms was like a second master. I think there was an addition to the house, so the bedroom Alex would have gotten was originally the master. It had a walk-in closet. It had the sliding glass door to the porch. I think that was the original master. Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons he loved the house, because he gets bigger. A huge room, and I get that. And he would get an office, and you would get a pretty big office, and his office would have been terribly located for me, because I would get his work at home noise when I'm filming, which is what I was trying to avoid. There was everything wrong for me with that house, but even at the end of the day, I was like, okay, we'll put in an offer. It's 4 bedrooms. It works for most of everybody. There was something else about it that I didn't like. First of all, the master bedroom, most people would love it. It had a walk-in closet that was a true walk-in closet. It had double princess doors, and it had a princess chandelier in it, and it was mirrored, and it had custom shelving.
And it was a good size closet.
I was actually saying I was going to use it as my office. I was like, I don't need this.
Her desk would have fit in there fine. And...
Oh, yeah. But the other original closet, this was an addition, I could tell. The original closet to the bedroom was in the same nook room as the toilet. And I was like, I am not putting my clothes in the same close the door room as the toilet.
It was toilet, half a wall.
And then clothes.
And then clothes.
But the shower. Remember how that one house had a 1-person shower? This one had a 6-person shower.
Oh my God.
It had 2 rain shower heads, but like
10 feet
apart. It was huge. I was like, you could have put the closet there.
Yeah.
And you could have put the shower.
Literally, like, we could have showered at the same time and just been like, can you throw me something?
Yeah, throw me
the shampoo. Can you hear me?
Like,
hello?
Dude.
Yeah, it was crazy big.
Yeah, but my biggest problem with that was that room, you had to go through the kitchen, around the laundry room, past the garage to get to that room. I would have felt so closed off with my office in there. I would have felt like I had no business being in the rest of the house.
But the thing is that, to me, the weirdest part is when you walk in, you go all the way to the back and then left to the back part of the house, and then you have to go
through the kitchen.
But it wasn't just like a diagonal to it.
No,
it was
like,
you go forward,
like
you make
maze.
a left, then you make another left, then you make a right, because you had to go around all the counters.
I understand why the pool was a draw. Also, we would have had to screen the porch, so that was also a thing. I understand why the pool was a draw, and I understand why Alex liked the house so much. It's luxurious. It has a beautiful kitchen. It gets a pool. He has a huge room. He gets an office. But I don't get anything I want, and since I'm the one that saved all the money, I feel like out of anybody in this house, I should be the one to get everything I want. Mostly, though, it's because it's everything I need. I'm not looking for anything I want. Do you know what I want in a house? I want it to be red brick or tan brick. I want it to have, I wanted to have like brand new black appliances, and I want to make sure it has like, I have wants, okay? I didn't care anything about my wants. I was just looking for, what do my cats need and what do I need to do my job? That's all I was looking at, and I got none of those things.
We were looking for functionality. Now that last house, again, it's going to make someone a great house.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will love it. Somebody whose wife really loves clothes.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where each one of the perks was like a 10-pound bag of weight, and then everything that it didn't cover was pulling out like some of that. So it still it just didn't weigh enough.
I was still willing to put in an offer on it.
Yeah.
So then we get to the end of the story. We talk to the realtor that night. We say we want to put an offer on those 2 houses. And she works the numbers and says, you need to come up with this much money at the table. And I was like, what? That's so much more than I thought. I thought I was going to have extra money. But let me just say, this would have cleaned us out. So we slept on it, and she was going to make the offer in the morning. And I woke up at like 6 o'clock, and I could not sleep. And I was like, hey, I need you to get up. And he was like, I'm tired. And I was like, no, I need to go for a walk, please. We need to talk. So I made him get up super freaking early. I'm so sorry. You got to go home early. You could have taken a nap. That was all you. Yesterday, I went to a show, and you went home early.
Oh.
Could have taken a nap.
Well, I mean, I didn't go home early. I had to run errands.
Anyway. So we went for the walk, and I said, I don't think I can do it. And he was like, why? And I said, I don't love either of those houses enough to completely clean out my bank account for. Also, we would have to break our lease early. That didn't leave us any money to pay for that.
And then we still had to put money to, if we did the second one, or the
screening in the porch. Yeah. There was no money that we really needed to put in for the other one. For the 3-bedroom.
Yeah, we could have just moved in.
We could have just moved right in. But yeah.
We didn't.
I didn't love either of those houses enough to go absolutely broke for it. And so I called the realtor and I was like, hey, we can't do this right now. I'm so sorry I wasted your time. She was like, oh, it's never a waste of time. You guys are so much fun to hang out with. And I was like, I'm glad we could at least be that. And I believe her when she says that. I don't think she was just trying to keep a sale. I absolutely believe her because we have a blast with her. She thinks she just gets a kick out of us. But I was like, we can't do this right now. I think with the amount of money that you need us to bring at the table, if we're going to end up settling for something that we like instead of love, I don't want it to clean me out. So I need more time to save, and we should do it closer to when our lease ends so that we don't have to deal with that. And she agreed. So we're going to pick back up in a few months, and hopefully the prices and interest rates haven't skyrocketed too much, but if they do, they do, and whatever. We had to make the right choice for us. So that's the bittersweet ending to the We Tried to Buy a House saga. And I really just wanted to take you along on the journey. I don't know why I thought you guys would find it interesting, but I find it interesting that
you guys get to see how stressful buying a house is.
And that was just one day of looking. We've been looking for a few weeks. But my takeaways for this: if you have a roommate, don't bring them with you to look at houses until you've narrowed it down to a few that you love, or till you've picked the one that you like. But if you do that, do consider their needs, not necessarily their wants. You can know what their wants are and try to get it for them, but don't make that make or break the deal. If it's a need, though, yeah, he needed to park his car, so that. We looked at that need and said, okay, he needs to park his car.
He needs a bathroom. He needs these
things. He needs his own bathroom. He needs a room big enough to have an office and a bed and a closet. He doesn't have the imagination, though, to see that an empty room is way bigger than it looks, because once you put furniture in it, it's not as small.
It's funny, when you're moving in, if you guys haven't moved yet, you'll look at a room and you're like, that's not going to fit. And then you go in, all of a sudden you put it in, and you're like,
I have so much room.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do with all this?
Rooms look way smaller without furniture. I didn't mean to say he doesn't have imagination. He does, but you know what I mean.
I didn't think that we'd be able to fit an elliptical in this room.
Yeah, there's an elliptical in our bedroom, and there's still extra space for my office. And the drum set.
And then an elliptical?
Yeah, bed, elliptical, drum set, vlog space, office, and a chair. Like, this room is huge. But I didn't think it was that big when we first moved in.
No, when we first moved in, I was like, all right, we'll be able to put your desk in here, and then that bed, and then...
So, with your roommates, think about their needs, put their needs above their wants, and don't let their wants dissuade you from a house you really, really love. Rooms are bigger than they seem when they don't have furniture. And know that you have to bring a lot of actual money, not a loan from the bank. You have to save and bring a lot of money. Even if you're doing the 3% down, you have to bring a lot of money to the table when you buy a house. So know where that's going to put you financially and decide if a house is worth it. Those are my takeaways. I hope that you guys have enjoyed going along with this for our saga. We didn't have any plan for this vlog. I was just like, let's just talk about the process of buying a house.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, okay. So we did. I hope you enjoyed it.
If you guys have any questions about what we experienced, like if you're in the process and you're like, where should I begin?
Yeah, honestly, if you guys are interested, we could do a TikTok live and talk about this, because I know a lot of people are thinking about getting houses right now. And as total noobs, our experience could be very valuable to other people. So if you're interested, let us know if you'd like us to do like a TikTok live or like a YouTube live, and we'd be happy to do a Q&A with you. We've been in the home buying process for, I want to say, about 6 months in total right now, but we've only been seriously looking for about 4 weeks because it took me that long to save.
And also, during that time, you're also trying to get your credit in line, get all your paperwork that they ask for.
Yeah, and work with a great realtor that has your back. That's my other takeaway. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for going along with this journey with us. I know we do things so bass-ackwards. We buying a house before we get married, but whatever. Now it's going to be after, but whatever. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this or want to hang out with us. We post videos weekly most of the time, sometimes several times a week. Super fun. And hit the thumbs up button, because buying a house is stressful and we need all the moral support we can get. So hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe.
We love you. We'll miss ya. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And we're out of here. Bye.